Hey there to my favorite band students. I hope you're all doing so well. I really miss you guys, and I'm incredibly proud of you for the work that you've been doing while we've been at home. I cannot wait until we're together again and we can actually have a concert and perform for people. Today I'm going to do a lesson on time signature, very specifically on 3/4 time and a new kind of note. Now, if you are a 6th, 7th, or 8th grader, this should be a review for you, but it's very important that you watch because this is not a time signature that we play in very often, and it's easy to forget the details. So I want you to listen up. If you're a 5th grader, this is new, and it's important that you listen so you understand. Now, if you will look at this sheet of music, it doesn't matter what instrument you play. You don't need to know how to read all these notes on this particular staff. It's going to be more about rhythm today. But you'll see at the very left-hand side of this sheet of music is a treble clef symbol. And then we have one flat sign that happens to be a B flat. And it's telling us that all of the B's in this song are going to be played flat. Whether it's the third line B where you see the symbol, or if it's another B somewhere else on the staff, all the B's will be flat. Now, the third little thing you see here is numbers, and you see a 3 over the top of a 4. It looks kind of like a fraction, 3/4. What that number is your time signature. The time signature is always at the beginning of any piece of music. Most of the time we play in 4/4 time, or you'll see a C for common time, which means there are 4 beats in a measure and the quarter note gets the beat. In this example, you'll see that each measure between these bar lines, there is 3 beats because this is 3/4 time. 3 beats in every measure, and the quarter note, which are the little black notes filled in, they each get 1 beat. For example, if I were to count this measure, I would say 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and so on. Each measure has 3 beats. Now, the reason I'm making a big deal out of this is because when beginners play in 4/4 time on a regular basis, 3/4 time can actually feel really different, and it feels tricky because in your mind you want to hold something for 4 beats and you don't even know it till you try it. But in a way you want to say 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you kind of add an imaginary 4th beat that isn't there. So it's important you don't do that. We're going to start by counting to 3, and after we count to this 3rd beat, we're immediately moving on to one of the next measure. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now the next thing you need to understand is this measure. This has first a half note. It is an open note, not filled in, tied to a quarter note. And when you tie 2 notes of the same pitch together, you don't tongue the second note. You'll tongue this first note and you hold it for the length of all the notes. But when you get to this note, you don't tongue it. You just keep holding it out. So we're going to say 1. Each bounce in my voice is a beat. 1, 2, play. Ta. 3 beats total. 2 for the half note, 1 for the quarter note. Tied together is 3 beats. Now, this note here is our new note. It is exactly the same as what we played in this measure. This note, the dotted half note, it's an open note with a dot next to it. Now, one thing I want to point out is the dot is not above the note and the dot is not below the note. If you saw the dot above or below the note, it would be telling us to play staccato, which is a stylistic thing. That's completely different than how many beats it gets. The dot next to the note tells us that it adds 1 extra beat to this note. It gives it half of its value. So if a half note here gets 2 beats, this dot adds an extra beat, 1 extra beat to the note. So again, 2 plus 1 for the dot is 3 beats total. And of course, we're in 3/4 time, which means we can't have more than 3 beats in each measure. Because this measure and this measure, they each get 3 beats that you hold out and do not tongue separately. So when we get to these, we would just say 1. So let's count this together. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 3, 1. I'm sorry, my cursor skipped to that one in the last measure. But I think you get the idea. Now, these are tied together, so you don't tongue the last note. But in this measure, the half note is not tied to this third note, so you do tongue it separately. Okay, I'm going to go back to the beginning, and this time I want you to listen to the trumpet playing for us, and I want you to follow along. I'm going to stop it there. Now, at the end of this piece, we do see a repeat sign, so it would automatically go back to the beginning and repeat for us again. But I want you to just get the idea of how 3/4 time is counted. You notice 1, 2, 3, 1. You immediately start the next measure. You do not hold it for a 4th beat. So when you go home to play this, you're going to go into Smart Music. You're going to see this piece for your instrument in your correct key, and I want you to play through it very carefully. I think it automatically sets the tempo up here to 96, which is pretty fast, so you can press the minus sign and go down to another tempo, or you could put in something like that. I think 86 is what I just had it on. Slow it down. There's no need to rush it. I would rather you play it slowly and correct than to rush. The next thing you need to look for is in the top left-hand corner where it says accompaniment. This is kind of a hokey accompaniment. Listen to it. It's a little bit distracting when I need to hear your instrument, so I don't care if you practice with it at home, but turn it off like that when it's time to record for me. Your part. Feel free to turn it on. Play with it at home. And it says my part. Make sure it's turned on. And make sure that your pitch of your note matches the pitch that you hear in my part. If you don't hear one of these notes, la, if your note doesn't match that, then make yourself look up the fingering or change your lip positions so that you can match the note. That's really important. Take it slowly. Finally, we have the metronome. When this is turned on, it clicks for us. When it's turned off, we don't hear the click. The reason I like it is because it makes you stay on beat. You don't stop, take time to figure out a note, and then play it at your own tempo. It makes you stay with the beat. And so I think it's important to practice with the metronome on. All right, I think that's about it. At the end of this assignment, you're going to go out of the video and back to Google Classroom. You're going to go up in the top right-hand corner of your page of this assignment. Open the assignment page all the way, top right-hand corner. You're going to answer the question that I have posted. What time signature did we study today? And what is the name of the new note we learned? The dotted quarter note, how many beats does it get? You're going to answer that question and click turn in. Then you're going to go to the Smart Music app, and I would like you to practice with it. It is important that you not try to practice and record for me all at once. Instead, practice this for 2 or 3 different days, a few minutes each time, and then when you're comfortable, you can record it for me and send it in. You have a week to send this song plus one other maybe 3 total to me. So I want you to practice them and not turn them in until you know you're ready. One last thing, if you have a note that you don't understand, like this one is a newer one for the trumpets, and you wonder, how do I finger that? Do you see when you click on the note, to the right-hand side you can listen and hear the note, and to the left-hand side is a circle with buttons. When you click that, it shows you the name of the note, which is B flat, and how to finger it on your instrument. This is a trumpet and it's the first valve, but it's of course different for every instrument. So if you don't know how to finger a note, or you can't remember the name of the note, look it up, click the little buttons, and you will see that. And again, click the sound bars to hear what the note sounds like. It's so much more important that you match the pitch and take your time than to just send me a jumbled recording without trying. I hope that helps. You guys, I'm proud of you. And I know that I've gone on and on talking, but I appreciate you listening to this lesson. And I look forward to hearing from you guys soon. I just realized that a moment ago I told you this was a dotted quarter note. I want to make sure you understand that it's a dotted half note, a half note with a dot behind it. There is something called a dotted quarter note. It is not the same thing, and we will talk about that at another time. But that's kind of the point of the lesson today, and I wasn't able to edit the video, so I want to make sure you know it's a dotted half note, not a dotted quarter note. And a dotted half note gets 3 beats. Okay, thanks guys. Talk to you later.